What's going on, everyone? My name is Lucas, and with the Serie A starting up again, Juventus have been quite dominant in this competition, winning the last 7 Scudettos. From blowing out the competition to even having an undefeated season, there hasn't really been too much competition, unfortunately. Napoli were close last season, but even with the most points from a runner-up, it obviously wasn't enough. So that got me thinking, who was the last Serie A club not named Juventus to win the championship? Let's have a look. Yes, Milan was the last team not named Juventus to win Serie A. A great feat after seeing their rivals Inter win the treble in the previous season. The campaign began poorly, only winning 1 out of their first 4 matches. On paper, they were promising. Their frontline had guys like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Robinho, Inzaghi, Ronaldinho, and Pato. Remember him? Castano arrived in January, while Ronaldinho left in the same month. In the midfield, they had experienced guys who were champions such as Seedorf, Gattuso, Van Bommel, and Pirlo, while also having Emmanuelson and Kevin Prince Boateng. You couldn't complain about their backline either. Thiago Silva, Zambrotta, Nesta, Antonini, and more. Their goalkeeper Abbiati had odd moments in some matches, but it's not like he wasn't a good player. This was a fun team to watch when they were attacking. So many players with flair, exciting the crowd, and scoring some fantastic goals. They weren't the top goal scorers in the league, but they did concede the least. Only 24 goals allowed, which was 15 less than any other club. Milan did draw a lot of matches, some against teams that should have been beaten, but they ended up winning the league by 6 points. 4 of their players were in Serie A Team of the Year, having Thiago Silva, Nesta, Kevin Prince Boateng, and Ibrahimovic, who also won Player of the Year with 14 goals and 12 assists. Serie A was interesting back then. Well, it is interesting now too, but it was a little different. Udinese finished in 4th, with Di Natale having 28 goals while having Alexis Sanchez shine. They also clinched the Champions League playoff spot against Milan on the last day of the season. Then there was Juventus, who were awful. I remember watching Krasic thinking he was the next Nedved. I probably only thought that because of his hair. Not only was their league campaign bad, they were eliminated in the Europa League by Manchester City, who weren't as good as they are now, and Lech Poznan from Poland. I'm sure I could make an entire video about this Juventus team, but the next 7 seasons make you forget that this even happened. Now back to Milan. What happened to the team? Champions of Italy? Now this. In a couple seasons, the team looked completely different. After their title-winning campaign, not many significant players left. Socrates and Aubameyang were gone, and would see each other again in the future. Socrates did play a few games for Milan, while Aubameyang never played in the Serie A. The big departure was Oguchi Onyewu, who left on a free transfer. Okay, maybe he wasn't that big of a deal, but Andrea Pirlo was. Pirlo was told that Allegri didn't envision him playing in front of the defense anymore, but in the left side of midfield. Andrea thought he could still play there, saying in his book, "If the sea's deep, a fish can breathe. If you put him just under the surface, he'll get by, but it's not quite the same thing." He was also only given a 1-year contract extension, unlike Juventus, who had 3 years on the table. Unfortunately for Milan, Pirlo made the right choice. The club still did fine that year, finishing 2nd and only 4 points behind Juventus. The season after, the real downfall began. They still got 3rd place, and that's not too bad with the players who left. Core attackers who were part of the title-winning squad were sold. Cassano went to Inter, while Pato, who was expected to be one of the best, had an awful few years with injury. He ended up at Corinthians in 2013. PSG became rich in 2011, so they invested in Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Thiago Silva. Van Bommel also left the club, going back to PSV. It was tough times for Milan. The heart that the team had nearly died. Club legends left the club, and maybe they were past it. Nevertheless, it's always sad seeing players who define Milan leaving the club. This was Inzaghi, Seedorf, Gattuso, and Nesta. All of them ended up being managers, and if we exclude Nesta, all were managers at Milan at some point. After the 2012-13 season, Milan had a rough couple of years. 8th, 10th, 7th, and 6th were the places they finished in the Serie A prior to the 17-18 campaign. Then Berlusconi sold the club after many years of consideration and fan demand. Everyone had so much hope last season with the new owner, with large sums of cash being spent. Unfortunately, the owner Lee Yong-hong was shady. Milan were nearly banned from UEFA competitions and finished 6th. They had to fire Montella halfway through the year too. However, due to the former owner Lee not paying off the Elliott hedge fund in time, that led to the control of the club going to the hedge fund company. If you want more info about this, I'll leave a link below. It seemed like things were going to become worse, but there might be some light toward the end of the tunnel. They got rid of the old guard of Hassone and Mirabelli. Instead of them, Leonardo was brought in to deal with the transfers, and Maldini has finally returned to the club in an upstairs role. The signings they have made were good too. Some aren't out of this world, but there are others that will improve the team immediately. The main player gone is Bonucci, but due to that, Caldara comes in, a younger defender who partners up with Romagnoli. Sounds like the perfect future center back duo for club and country. There are other younger players in the team that make it exciting for the future, but what about goals? That's one big area they struggled with last season. Kalinic is off to Atletico Madrid somehow, and Andre Silva is at Sevilla. Cutrone will be good, luckily he's not alone. Gonzalo Higuain is coming on loan with an option to buy, which is amazing for Milan. He's a guy who should bang in 15 to 20 goals, and also isn't too bad in providing for others. Things may not be perfect right away, and time will tell whether Gattuso is a great coach. However, a new season brings hope, which is something Milan fans will have. Now it's up to the team to deliver the results. Let me know your thoughts about Milan down in the comments below. Do you think they'll have a better season than last year? Or is it going to be more of the same? So thank you for watching the video, and I hope all of you have a great day. Take care.